K-S-A, D as in David, E, V as in Victor, A-L-L. I've been spelling that for 40 years in my life.
31 Baldwin?
Dogwood.
That's
Bless you. Okay. I noticed on the agenda, I'm asking the town to defer approving ordinance number 040-2019, which relates to the hydro rating at Foote's Pond, until they satisfy themselves some issues that I have been raising for quite a while. I was the Foote's Pond project coordinator since 1997-98. It was my idea to come up with the original plan, working with the Dodge Foundation. And I ran that under the administration of Mr. Delaney and Don Casadevall. I've gone and made a presentation to the Environmental Commission in April. I have not seen the minutes for that. I don't understand how they reconciled it. The plans for hydro raking were part of the Foote's Pond Park restoration project that I was overseeing. We were expressly prohibited from doing that by the Department of Environmental Protection. It was scheduled to be $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. I had matching funds lined up with the Geraldine Dodge Foundation. The Shore Department were the engineering firm that did the testing, and there was an environmental corporate company that also did the testing from Princeton. The testing sediment determined they tested about 15 spots in the final. Preliminary testing was fine. Before we did the raking, they tested about 15 parcels of sediment in the soil, determined that about 4, 5, or 6 of them were considered hazardous materials. All of this is documented in the files at the town. This hazardous materials prohibited us from raking. We were limited to doing hazardous material dredging, which meant you had to pull everything out, put it into waterproof, certain containers by certain companies had to do it, and it had to be transported to Newark or someplace else for disposal. This is what cut the project short. The problems related to this, and the 2 engineering firms have written this explicitly to the town. We went down to DEP because I was looking for alternatives. Instead of raking the property, could we get the sediment off? And the answer was no. Can we take part of it away? And the answer was no. I asked, can we go around the whole pond and sample where the contaminated materials were and leave those areas alone? The answer was no. And what they said to us explicitly was, and this should be in the files, is that if you do this, we have told you, we have formally advised the town that this is not allowed. If you do this, you will be on your own, because we have made a public record that we have advised you. I think it's with the DEP as well. You're risking contaminating all the property downstream. Everybody who runs against the property. You're risking contaminating the soil at Thomas Jefferson School. My husband went to Thomas Jefferson School. I had 4 children that went through Thomas Jefferson School. The school district was aware of this because they were all partners with us in this project. The bigger thing, they said the liability we would have, especially like Windmill Pond, they said if Windmill Pond has to dredge, and if they do their sediment testing, and it determines that there are hazardous materials in it, they would be able to point back to when town's doing something at Foote's Pond contrary to prior recommendations, and the town's liability for that would exist. Probably wouldn't, I don't know, I vaguely remember saying, oh, and it wouldn't be covered by insurance because we told you not to do it. I had a very long conversation with the Environmental Commission in the April meeting. I have not seen the minutes. The only minutes I can see online ended in March. I was hoping that would come forth here. I've discussed it. Anytime I've talked about the project, I say that it stopped because of the contaminated materials. This was something that I was very dedicated to doing, and maybe there's something that's changed. Maybe the sediment samples are different. Maybe the testing done is different. All I'm looking for is for the town to defer that procedure maybe till next month, and see if there's somehow somebody has reconciled the decisions and the recommendations from the 2007, I don't even remember what year it was, 2007, 8. I left working in 2008. Don Casadevall let me stick around to wrap up the things that were needed to be done. Reconcile the sediment sample testing and the prohibition to what is now coming across as we can do this. Somebody told me, oh, it was hazardous before and now it's not hazardous. I don't follow that. I mean, if you told me I could drink water in Newark, I wouldn't drink it. So I just really am concerned about the health of the children at the school and the people who live downstream and the liability. I'm not saying stop it. I'm just asking, can we look at the town's records? I've been asking this to do. I have not seen the response from the Environmental Commission. We had a lengthy discussion about this, and there's nothing, I can see any records beyond March, that they even met after that. So that's all I'm asking, is that you defer this, and one other reminder, this is
Ms. Joan, you're over your 5
I'm
minutes,
sorry.
so if you.
I'll be very quick and I'm wrapping up because I have to go myself. This is pre-internet communication. Everything we did was hard copy, so that you will not find emails back and forth with this. There are printed copies that were sent. In 2007, 2008, all the grants, everything I wrote had to be written. Correspondence with the engineering firms were in writing. There's not emails to the town saying this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. All I'm asking is defer it, okay?
Thank you.
And I'm going home, thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.